Oh, Jim, what is this? It's one of the chairs is. Oh. But we go all the way back, right? Yes. Here. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You have a costume.
Yes, I can grab it for you.
Yeah, right,
Got it.
like clothes.
Perfect.
Oh, look at that, need a song.
Oh, we're gonna write that was good, you know, it'll be musical now. It's been good that I was like, it was so fun. Love hunters. Cause they always get,
I'm writing a jingle on it.
yeah, there you go, yeah. Nice. Mhm.
That's one of the houses near side.
Got in mind to do, but those, you know, I like a one.
One thing, but. Good day. So nice out. But I get tired. Karen's wife.
Oh, no, I do
I'm tired
too.
of reading class. Yeah. So this and then, you know, simple. There's not large, you get used to that, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I've got them. So I use them. Right. Actually, 4, 5.
I did. Was flying all over through there.
Yeah, I think he got reader. They know it. Right in there, dead. Glasses. Glasses in there. Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Jerry's coming. Yeah, I'm not. Uno momento.
Oh, and, yeah. And
It's a show that we're talking about.
So. Yeah.
There's everything that's signed up.
I'll do it.
Has there usually bring stuff out?
I've done two massive areas to the school. That's really cool.
All right, we're gonna call this meeting to order. 6:31. Please let's get pledged. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. We have Counselor Mackin, Counselor Tyro, Counselor Hildebrand, and Counselor Peterson for a quorum. And I believe you said there were no interested in, okay, we'll go on to the consent agenda. Before we approve the consent agenda, we're going to have Rob go over the new financials. I don't know if you all looked in your packet and saw the last couple of months finally out. And so I'll go ahead and turn that over to you, Rob.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. If I may, I'd like to introduce Rob.
Sure.
So Rob joined us on August 28th,
27.
August 27th. So he's been here a little over a month now. Rob really impressed us with his credentials. He has in-depth accounting experience in the corporate world in all aspects of the business cycle and running that finance and accounting department. He's an Oregon licensed CPA. Like I said, brings a wealth of experience to the profession. And he's acclimated himself very well in the role. We're glad to have him on board. We have a new format for our financial statements. It's a little easier to read this time compared to last time. So I'm gonna have him walk you through it. And Rocio, could we pull it up on the screen so folks can follow along? Or pull it up. Thank you so much.
All right, so the first page, which is page 7 of the packet, just shows how the total cash is distributed amongst the different funds. It should be noted that there are some funds in a negative. And some of that will be addressed later, but if you look at the next page, where it shows cash allocated to general fund, that goes back to the same amount that's top number on the first page, and each fund is that way. So the order that they show on that first page is the order of the funds in the packet. The difference that we have in the format is it's put into different groups rather than just subtotaling each account. So, for example, the revenue, there's the different revenue streams for the general fund. And then after the revenue, there are the different expenditures. on the general fund, and each fund goes that way. If you go to page, skip quite a bit and go to page, let's see, it is 67, 69, I mean. I've got a summary.
Yeah.
Um,
Like that.
so it summarizes the main categories across the funds and then totals it. So. It's a little easier to look at if you just wanna look at it real quickly and see what a fund's doing, it'll show it there, and that's something that, I started with August, and I'll go ahead and provide each financial statement. So I don't know if there are any questions on something at this point.
No, we know we have a tight budget.
All right,
But it's very nice to actually see it completely.
it is my goal to have these out each month, my goal is by the 5th working day, but right now, there's things holding me up that I can't quite meet that, but by the 10th for sure, so.
Excellent.
I have a whole bunch of little questions.
Okay,
Why is this so high? I think it's too much for the meeting. Could I arrange to come
yeah,
in?
that'd be great, we can do that.
Okay, I'll be in tomorrow to sign checks, so I'll bring my list with me. If that's okay?
Yes, I
What
didn't
time?
get checks done today.
I heard.
So, it's my goal to get them done tomorrow, but, I don't know if they'll be ready for your signature until the next day.
Well, okay, I can wait on my questions.
Okay.
Thank you. I do have an amendment to make on the minutes. So we need to go back to that, I think.
Does anybody want to still discuss the budget or have any questions with regard to the last couple of months that we have?
The new format's really good.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
I can't take credit for the new format.
Oh,
Jamie
boy.
did that.
well, all right.
Well, she did. We loved, I had forgotten about this part until you mentioned it again, and I loved it. All right, so amendment away.
Back to page 3, it's line number 6, there's an extra 8 in there.
Oh, dang, I wish we had that much.
Does it substantially change anything, but it looks odd. So,
Excellent.
um,
All right. As amended. Anybody have anything else?
so Madam Mayor, if I may, I move to approve the consent agenda, including the minutes from September 2nd and the August financial minutes as amended.
I'll second.
I have a motion from Councilor Mackin and a second from Councilor Hildebrand. And all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Nobody opposes, motion passes. All right, we're gonna move on to interviews for city council vacancies and appointment, and I'm going to turn it over to Jeremy. Before we get into that.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So this is the follow-up from the last meeting, where some applicants were unable to attend. Since then, we've had one applicant withdraw due to personal reasons. See, 2 applicants are available with us tonight, and 1 applicant isn't. At this time, the council has 3 options. One option is to make appointments to both seats from those available and still interested. Another option is to make 1 appointment. And then another option would be to keep seats open and direct staff to conduct another outreach effort. Try to get more applicants in light of the fact that we've had some withdrawals. And those unable to show up for tonight. So I'm looking for direction from council on which way you would like to go. The city code gives you discretion in conducting this appointment process.
I have a procedure question.
Yes.
So, just to make sure, are both seats, the duration of that seat is until next year, right? Both are up for election at the same time?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, cool. And then since there are multiple seats open, do we go through, like, if somebody had a nomination for a seat, how does the process work? Do you go on a seat by seat basis, or, yeah? It, yeah,
That's
is
how
that
it
the-
used to be.
Okay, cool. That was just for a process clarification.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
I just, I don't know that we've ever done two at a time.
Yeah, that's.
No, we haven't. We've always done one at a time and then,
Only one opening at a time.
so I don't know. I mean,
This is new.
I will leave it up to you folks to determine how you want to handle it.
Well, let's view seat by seat. How about that? What do we think? So, like, I would like to make a nomination for one of the seats. I would like to nominate Scott Hoover for a seat. Does that need a second?
Yes.
Okay.
I second that. Okay, I have a motion on the floor from Councilor Hildebrand and a second from Councilor Peterson for a vote for Scott Over for a seat. Any other motions?
I need to do like a record.
No, it'll just be verbal, so. So, okay, all those in favor or opposed, or do you want discussion?
I'm filling one seat at a time, I like that.
Cool.
We call a question.
Okay. So I have a motion on the floor and a second from Councilor Peterson, those in favor?
Alright,
Aye. All right, motion passes, we have one seat filled. And so I guess you guys want to reopen?
Upon appointment, do we wait until we address both seats before one appointed joins us?
Mr. Hover has been appointed, and at this point, I recommend swearing him in, seating him.
We let the seats up, by the way,
6.
November next year, swear, and then January.
So December 31.
December 31, 2026.
Mhm.
You wanna do the swearing right now?
Yeah, but
Where do we wanna move?
I think,
Madam Mayor, I recommend seating Mr. Hover and then proceeding with business.
Thank you.
There you go.
come on up, Mr. Holder.
Like grandma did.
Sorry. No, you're gonna stand up there.
Ready to follow.
Okay.
So raise your right hand. And I, Scott Holbert,
I, Scott Hover,
do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the state of Oregon,
that I will solemnly swear and affirm. I do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States and of the state of Oregon.
and that I will, to the best of my ability,
And I will, to the best of my ability,
faithfully perform all the duties of city councillor for the city of Dayton
faithfully perform all the duties of city councilor for the city of Dayton
during my continuance in office.
during my continuance in office.
Congratulations.
That's it.
Yeah.
Everyone else can do that.
We're gonna be crowded on this side again.
So I should, I am the vote record. And then just use those.
I guess. Just squish over.
Yeah.
Sit down, Scott.
There we go.
All right. Second seat. Yes,
I think since it's two separate people, two situations. I think we should reopen and allow for some more people to say, that is a good idea. I don't have to say we have a pool of people. Got that thought.
first. You want to nominate tonight or open up the seat for a little longer?
I'll nominate and I'll put forward for a second and we'll see where it goes. Okay, I'll nominate Colt Winster Lee Wilkins for the second seat.
A motion on the floor for Holt Wilkins. Is that right? Any seconds?
A second.
Okay, I have a motion from Councilor Hildebrand, a second from Councilor Mackin. All those in favor? Aye.
There.
All right, Holt, you are on. Come on up, sir.
On it.
Huh?
Fact that he had showed up, I think is a bad thing.
This table is getting full.
Very big, getting very big, I see.
This is pretty true. So raise your right hand. I, Paul Wilkins, do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the state of Oregon.
I, Colt Wilkins, do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the state of Oregon,
And that I will, to the best of my ability,
and that I will, to the best of my ability,
faithfully perform all the duties of city councillor for the city of Dayton.
faithfully perform all the duties of city councilor to the city of Dayton
During my continuance in office.
during my continuance in office.
Congratulations.
All right, so go ahead and stand up when you're done, so you can take a picture.
Yeah, just well, hand it to him.
Oh.
And then grab it.
Oh, here you go.
There you go. Oh, like this.
Okay.
There you go.
Like fish, you just
Got it.
I tell you, we hold your fish.
Okay, I will switch over here. Do we have another chair we can put out here for?
Yeah, but no.
You're ready.
I did like a special. Sometimes you got this.
Chairman's chair.
Oh.
I've got your chair.
All right. We have a new casket.
You have extra agendas.
I have four.
I reviewed the agenda already, so.
Okay, chair, she can chair.
And my.
I tell you. Sign out this year.
Cole's gonna hand out his on his phone if you want, but just hold on to.
Oh, I'm fine. Yeah, like I said, I'm not gonna be bored table, so yeah.
Yeah, probably a good idea.
I can hang out with. County computer.
Okay, we're gonna turn to page, what is that, 81? For approval of resolution 2025/26-05. Proclaiming hands and words are not for hurting weight. Woo-hoo. No, I just need one.
Okay.
Yes.
I move to approve resolution 2025/26-05, a resolution of the city of Dayton proclaiming the week of October 19th through 25th, 2025, to be the 28th annual National Hands and Words Are Not for Hurting.
Also. That was motion from Councilor Peter, and a second from Councilor Brown. All those in favor?
That's a good question.
Yes, ma'am.
When we say that that we are supporting that, what is that? What is our job as council to support?
Kitty, you wanna tell her about the hands?
I know what because I participated in it before.
Yeah,
How, are we just saying,
we're recognizing it.
or are we giving them money, or it's
No,
No, it's a recognition that,
We are advertising on,
Okay.
the banner and
and new counselors, in case you didn't know, we have to report anything we see.
mandatory reporting.
It is
and-
mandatory reporting. So that's another reason we should.
Well, I mean, to a degree.
No,
No.
No, what I'm saying is there's things that are reportable and things that are not, so I mean.
If
it's good
you
if
see something,
you should
you are
have a
required.
discussion with, well, I was a mandatory report for 25 years with the nurse. And so some things are mandatory reporting, but some things you think might be, may not be. So.
but it's better to call.
Right, yeah, no, I agree,
Find out.
Or we could have a discussion with somebody together and run it by and say, hey, or clarifying to someone, which is always what I was told.
Yeah.
Told my people to do in nursing is,
Yeah, as a
Okay.
teacher, though.
let's talk about it first and say why you wanna do this, and then we'll go ahead and report from there.
Juliet's house has come talk to us.
Yeah, but they haven't been out for quite a while, so maybe we could get them out sometime.
If we ask, I think they will.
Yeah.
And our new counselor or returning counselor. You've lived this for a long time. You could probably add some helpful information to
Well,
us.
and I would strongly support Councilor Macklin's suggestion or Mayor Frank's suggestion that we get somebody in here just to clarify, because lots, what I've experienced as a manager of 40 nurses and numerous CNAs and other people. is People will call the state or someplace for something that's not mandatory for it. It causes all manner of problem with people involved. And so it's not that we're not gonna do it, but let's run it, divide it together, we can do it as a group. Yeah, or encourage the person to go ahead and go forward with, because it is, mandatory reporting is a very, very important thing. I'm not trying to dismiss that at all. So,
Presentation on the docket for Juliet's house.
Yeah. I can-
Okay, so, I have a motion from Robin and a second from Councilor Mackin, all those.
No, it was somebody else.
Oh, it was Councilor, okay, excuse me. Okay, we're back on.
That's being to it.
It was your thing, I feel like.
So, before we, well, I'll say it after, all those in favor? Any opposed? Motion passes. Do we have the little poem, the hens, not, I don't remember the whole thing, someplace?
It's on the banner and I can recite it if you need to.
No, I just think it would be nice to have on the walls.
Oh.
Yeah,
Okay, anyways, moving on.
Oh, one more, thank you, Mr. Jeremy, for following through on this. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am,
I think Cindy, according to this, Cindy, instigated this.
she did, and Public Works hung up the sign.
I saw, thank you.
We do it.
Means a lot for us.
So,
It means a lot.
so point of clarification, please. So do I need to ask your permission before making a comment in this type of discussion? I mean, I'm thinking.
if you're not talking over anybody and you're breaking in at an appropriate time, then it's, I'm not like gonna be. I'm not that kind of a mayor.
So my apologies for not doing that.
Madam Mayor,
Yes,
I usually start with Madam Mayor.
Yeah.
Yeah. Always better to be said.
Okay, moving on, item number 3, this is on page 85, this is approval of resolution. 2025/26-06, authorizing tax and revenue anticipation note, and Rob is gonna talk to us about that.
So the information is on page 85, the most important things in there is the amount. Which it would be $441,737 dollars. And the financing cost would be 18,000. I left off of here that there was a bonding that we had to do, and that was 24,000. And then the interest rate is 7.45%. We're doing this because we've looked ahead and we see that there will be places where the cash flow is gonna be suffering. So, and it is a loan which we have to pay back within a year. But in that time, we have some other funding sources that we're looking into. Which should be able, and we might have to do this more than 1 year. But
Carry this.
yeah, but obviously the idea is that it's a cash flow issue, it's not a total funding issue. And so this will help us get over that hump.
And I believe, oh, I apologize. We talked about, I think it'll get paid off again when we collect our taxes, so, yeah. That's encouraging at 7.45.
Yeah.
That's good.
Just a question, is this a kind of a result of digging through and finally balancing out budgets from the past and figuring out, oh, we have tax on it?
So I think that's a good question. This is a result of us finally having monthly financials.
Yeah.
So previously, we didn't have visibility into fund level cash balances. We have that now. What happened in the past is we have a pooled cash account in our investments in our bank. Staff see that there's cash there, it's okay for us to pay bills. Well, as you see on page 8, or excuse me, page 7, all of that cash belongs to certain funds.
Right.
So we know where we stand now, and if you see, the general fund has $21,000 as of August 31st. The local option levy fund has negative 52. We're in a cash flow trough. We're in that time of year where our major source of revenues, property taxes, hasn't come in yet. So we need funds to tide us over until those start coming in. That's what this short-term measure does. But to answer your question, it's a result of us having visibility into those month level cash balances.
Thank you.
And funds shouldn't be in the negative. And the fact that they are is a result that it wasn't being watched on a fund by fund basis before that, so.
I have a
Yes.
quick question.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Oh, you can-
I have that.
Councilman.
I'm wondering if we could, at some point in the near future, get kind of a timeline of when throughout the year our property taxes come to us, when throughout the year we get the TLTs, and, I guess the other funding we get to play with is the ATOD, alcohol, tobacco, and other drugs, the revenue sharing. I think it'd be helpful for us if we could see when those things come in throughout the year.
What I
kind of
could
some
do
timeline.
is look at how they've come in the past and give you an idea from that.
I
would
think
that
that'd
be-
helpful.
Okay,
I never even thought about just how fiscal year starts July 1st, we don't get property taxes coming in till November. I hadn't even put that together.
Well, a lot of fiscal years don't start until July and go to the next July.
Government does that, but
Yeah, I think ours is that.
anyway. Seems like that'd be helpful if if it doesn't take too much to put it together.
No, that's something I could do and have prepared for the next council.
Cool, thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Madam Mayor, I just had a question of whether this is gonna be a cyclical issue or whether we're gonna find the funding from either the urban renewal project or something out that will make this unnecessary, because it seems like extra added expense, and if that's a yearly extra added expense, it's a significant one, you know?
It is unfortunately, and unfortunately, it's likely that this will be the reality, at least for the next few years or so. This is gonna require budget discipline. It's gonna require us making cuts and potentially finding new revenue sources to build up those balances. As far as urban renewal agencies, those dollars are specifically restricted to that specific area. But it's gonna require budget discipline. It's gonna take time. But I agree.
So we're living off our credit card for a while, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's sad. Okay, thank you.
All right. We're gonna move on to our next.
We need to.
Motion. Thank you. Could
I
I get a motion, please? Yes.
move to approve resolution 2025/26-06, a resolution authorizing tax and revenue anticipation notes and related matters.
Second.
I have a motion from Councilor Hillsbrand, a second from Councilor Becker. All those in favor?
Aye.
Do you understand they're talking
Anybody motion and motion pass? Motion
Yeah.
passes. We're not speaking.
You can look in the packet. I don't understand what they're talking about.
Okay, we're gonna talk about the public safety fee discussion and the local option levy kind of one right after the other. I have a feeling we'll have some overlapping. That starts on page 89. You got anything else on this?
Yes, ma'am. I'm seeking direction from the council tonight on if you would like to proceed with the approval process for this ordinance before you, which would, if enacted, authorize a public safety fee. The fee amount would be established through later action via resolution. That makes it easier to update the fee as opposed to having to go through the ordinance process every time. So the next step, if council is on board with this, would be to schedule a public hearing and a first reading. 2 readings are required. And this would go into effect 30 days after the second reading. Our goal, if the council wishes to proceed, is to have this in place to start collecting the fee by the January billing cycle. In my budget message, I specifically recommended a public safety fee. And that's something the budget committee endorsed because the cash balance in the local option levy fund has been depleted. As we see in the financial statements, that fund is now has a negative balance. The amount that we get from the levy does not meet what it costs to operate that fund. So we need a stopgap revenue source. In the meantime, without that, we would have to make some pretty significant cuts to ensure that this fund remains in balance. So I'm asking for council's direction on if we're going to move forward with something that was recommended in the budget and adopted by, or endorsed by the budget committee.
Let me just give you all an understanding of how seriously depleted this account is. Even if we get a local tax option levy on the books and we get it passed, it's not enough. Particularly if we only go out for the same amount, it costs. The cost for just one sheriff has gone up exponentially. So.
Madam Mayor, so clarification question. If we take on this utility fee and then we go through the levy process and get the levy process passed. Question 1 is, would we then drop the utility fee because the levy is passed? Question 2 is if the levy, as it was written in the most recent time in which we tried to get it passed, if we go for the same amount, that will not be enough. Do we have the ability to increase it to where it needs to be? I mean, we're kind of talking about pushing for the same amount, but why would we push for that amount? if It's
No,
not
we
gonna be
could,
enough.
we could push for more, but I.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was just curious of if there was limitations on the amount that it could increase at any given time.
The only limitation would be compression under property tax limits. I don't know how close we are to that limit. So under that limit, when you add up all the overlapping taxing districts, there's a maximum amount, and I don't know how close we are to that. So that would be the only limitation. And then, of course, public sentiment, of course.
Can you let them know? But there'd be a lot of stuff cut. Just, okay. Keep that in the back of your heads.
Yeah.
So if we want police services.
I think it's important.
Well, yeah.
That would be.
Kind of very important.
Extremely important.
We'll get into this in the next discussion, because it's in the. But we need to sell this, we need to go for what's going to work for the period of time, and then we have to sell it. We can't afford not to.
Yeah, I mean, we need to go out for the levy, but. If we don't get the levy to pass. We're still gonna be faced with making some cuts.
That'd be right.
Yes.
So, just kind of put things in, bite-sized chunks. Do you want to make a motion on the fee now and then get into the levy discussion as the next agenda item?
I would.
I would actually like to ask one more question.
Yeah,
Your
yeah,
question
I
out
would.
there.
Yes, please.
I'm just interested in this whole thing from a standpoint of. I've lived in Dayton not that long, I think 8 years now. And there's been a significant increase in utility rates during that period of time.
Yeah.
Now, we're looking at some growth in the near future, hopefully sooner than later, and I'm wondering if there's a floor tax or something in place in new construction, which is generally a funding source for this type of thing. In building, in-house floor tax. I know as a contractor, I pay floor taxes through the nose for this very infrastructure.
We're limited to $1.87
How are we limited to that?
because of back in the 80s. I think it was the 80s. Our state government got all upset about increases in taxes and they capped everybody.
So they can't ourselves with that.
We still get some development, but there's not enough development to fund what we need.
I was just curious.
If I may, Madam Mayor,
Please.
if I'm understanding Councilor Hover, you're talking about a potentially new source of tax, like a construction excise tax.
Yeah, it was called a floor tax, but what it is basically is you have a 2,000 square foot house, they imprint an X tax. And then that's cut into segments for schools, for infrastructure, and for that kind of,
Okay.
the very kind of thing, law enforcement that we're talking about now. In California, way back in the 80s, when I was building houses down there, we generally, as part of that floor tax, paid between $20,000 and $40,000 a home for those infrastructure taxes that went to all these different services that we're talking now.
Right, let me just give you a quick history lesson. Oregon does not like to pay taxes. Like,
Yeah,
so,
that's a.
therein lies the crux of part of the issue. And so.
But that's not a reoccurring tax, it's a single tax when you buy your home, and it's a way to hold developers accountable to paying for their share of the infrastructure. I mean, they're moving it.
To my knowledge, that is not something we could do locally at our level.
So if I may, there is something similar called system development charges. But that's for specific infrastructure systems to pay for capacity increases. And I've never heard of a law enforcement SDC. I can investigate that.
I'm just, this is me asking just because I'm curious. You know,
No, they are good.
because as we
questions,
grow,
but-
we have a lot of people that are interested in growing, I just don't feel like giving them freebies to increase the demand on our infrastructure and on our law enforcement. Personally, I think that our law enforcement is primary to our identity as a community. I feel bad for Officer Twixler as being the only guy running the show around here. It'd be nice if there was And especially considering what's going on.
We're not just saying that because Switch is here.
No,
No, we're not.
To be very clear.
Tell you.
I appreciate it. I honk my horn every time I see it.
Hey.
I still would get a ticket if I was speaking, but honestly, we really do appreciate
Yes.
your presence here as a member of our community. I'm just looking at ways to beat that up because I'd like to see more law enforcement.
I mean, we have the system development charges, but there's not enough in there to pull in the funding.
And I'm not trying to Californianize.
No, I
I'm
realize
just saying,
that, but
you know, if you wanna grow it, then you gotta make an investment in the community that you're growing to, and I think that's just, maybe I'm just buying the sky stuff. I don't know.
well, no, you just have to get our representatives to decide they want to change the tax.
Let's go first.
Go ahead.
Property tax reform was a constitutional amendment. California did it with Prop 13. Oregon followed with 30 and 50 or something like that. It's in the Constitution. The voters are gonna have to change it before we can raise property taxes. And something interesting, I've just put these numbers together. We are collecting $1.85 of the public safety levy, and that's not enough. We only get $1.70 to run the whole city. We can't exactly absorb, if the levy doesn't go through, or if we don't charge enough. We don't have any way of absorbing that from the general fund. So we have to sell this, we have to make sure we get everything we need from the levy.
So you said maybe you could look into that in terms of a fee that might work this way for us with.
Law enforcement system development charge, yes, I can look into that.
Thank you, I appreciate that, and I think we should make a motion to authorize the staff, man, please. I recommend that we authorize staff to proceed with all necessary steps to schedule the first reading on the proposed public safety fee ordinance.
I have correction from Counselor Peterson, seconded by Counselor Hoover. All those in favor? All right, thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Do we know enough about the accounting software now to be able to label this as this specific charge? Are we able to separate the bridge payment out of the sewer fee? Have you figured that out?
We'll need to look into that, but for this specific fee, we anticipate having processes in place to have this with the January billing cycle.
Okay, because I'd like to make sure we don't make it look like a sewer rate increase. Because we've done that already.
I honestly don't think we should just put it out there in the bill. We need to have like an open house or a town
Absolutely.
hall to discuss this.
Of
with
why
the
we need
community.
it.
Right, yeah.
There'd be torches outside of the.
We still may have torches out there with the economy the way it is.
Can I ask a question?
Normally I would say no, but go ahead.
What's the tax actually you're talking about?
The taxes that we can collect on properties.
I understand that, but what is he planning taxing on?
We're not taxing anything else. We're talking about the taxes we collect.
Right, okay, that means you're taxing something.
Utility bill.
We're gonna add a fee is what we're talking about.
Okay, that's what I'm saying, that means you're taxing something.
A fee is different than a tax, but it's an additional $12 and some change a month
Right, to what?
for police services.
I understand that. But it's just, okay, you're just gonna add that in for him,
It's gonna be added to your utility bill,
okay, to our water and sewer.
correct?
Okay, that's kind of what I'm trying to figure out. When I see my water bill, I wanna know, okay, where did this money come from?
Right, well, that's.
Because it will not say that on your water bill.
No, we are working to make sure it does say that. That's what Counselor Mackin was.
Okay,
really wanting to know.
because usually you get shocked when all of a sudden, there it is, or then you go down here and you ask her, oh, yeah, we forgot to tell you it's going up. That's where I'm asking.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying. When you see it, you wanna know why is it there?
Yep.
Because otherwise, you're gonna hear it from everybody.
indeed.
That's why I'm asking, where's it, plain and
For
simple,
sure.
what is he
Well,
taxing?
It would be best if we have an open house or something to discuss.
Yes,
with
okay.
the community. Okay, page. I can't see this, thank you,
97.
97. The local option levy discussion. Jeremy has a nice timeline. In this, which I think we should utilize. Kitty, you are very interested in being sort of the lead on this.
Oh, I would love it, thanks.
Okay.
I do have a clarification. The word police is used a lot in here. We don't have a police force, we have county sheriffs and deputies. I'm a little worried that if the public sees the word police, they might misinterpret it. I'm not paying this, we don't have police. Is police enough of a general term like Band-Aid or Kleenex? Will people understand that it is law enforcement? Can we use a different term? I'm a little worried that people are gonna pick up on the word police and say, I'm not paying this, we don't have police. Should we go with a different term?
Sir,
Councilperson Mackinnon, generally speaking, yeah, I think the police covers, law enforcement services
Okay,
with the city of Dayton. Yeah, I'm contracted with the city of Dayton for police services. I think that would fit.
thank you, sir.
thank you. Alrighty,
Good deal.
So, if we want. We'll use this as a template.
oh, yeah, he did good.
Yeah, he did really good, so,
I only have one thing to add,
yes.
we need kids involved. Yes,
For sure.
yeah. They need to be able to sell their peers.
Would you be up to working with Kitty on this? And then we'll have,
We'll make sure that this.
we can talk about it more at a work session.
Madam Mayor,
Yes,
correct me if I'm wrong, there's no motion needed at this point in time, because this is just talking about the timeline, right?
right.
Okay, cool.
Is the council on board with having a work session later this month to fully flesh out these ideas?
Yes, please.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
We'll do that.
Excellent. And we're moving on. We are going to go to item number 6, Dayton Community Survey, and this is page 99. And I believe this is Dave's.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Mayor. We are moving toward a different evaluation system for staff and performance measurement. And in order to better quantify that and be able to analyze it better, we need feedback, and feedback comes from the community. Now, in the past, not this past year, I don't even know if the year before, a community survey was developed for several years to the community that went out with questions and so forth about our performance. So what we've done is we've taken that, we've looked at it with other surveys from other communities and incorporated those questions into our own survey. And so we'd like to take this out electronically and via the utility bills and begin soliciting that feedback again, so that we better know where we're performing and where we're not performing. So I bring it to you just so that you, if you're in support of this and if you've reviewed it, your approval would be greatly appreciated.
Questions? Yes, sir.
Which which month would this go out?
Well, it probably could go out as soon as the end of October, because we usually bill, I believe, on the 20th of the month. Is that correct?
No.
Go
It
ahead.
would have to go out probably in December because there's a required lead time and we'd have to check with the servicer that sends out the bills, if they could
Oh, yeah.
integrate it.
It'll take some time.
Otherwise, the other option is that we can mail them ourselves.
Everybody, you take the bill.
Yeah. Good.
One question.
Yes.
At the very end, what are your top budget priorities? Affordable housing, it isn't exactly in our budget, because there really isn't much of anything we can do about it. Or are we talking about their budget priorities? Cause I guess affordable housing would be theirs. But
Yeah,
it
it
is
says
something
what's
we,
your top budget priority?
so that we're asking the people, and, cause there's not much we can do about affordable housing.
Well,
But,
we short of building it, but there are ways to attract builders.
yeah, okay, alrighty.
Madam Mayor. If we send it out with utility, then like, we're only gonna send out one survey. There's more than one person who has an opinion on my house, and I know that it's not necessarily my opinion. And she's a member of Dayton citizenry just as much as I am. Maybe.
Well, there will be an online digital way to respond, so that can also be an option. I think to compute how many voting members are in a household and send that many.
So no, I agree, and I was just thinking.
I say, should we could do like a QR code with it, maybe where they can go online
That's a
and
great
fill it
idea.
out?
Yeah, or you can just put down a website where you can fill it out online too, which is fine. I'd let Kathy fill out the one and then I do the other. But I think it would improve our response, and I think response is everything when you're doing these kinds of things. Usually you get like 10 or 8%, you know, you think, gosh.
Now, we've had some really good, because the last few surveys we've put out, we've done it by paper, by digital,
Mhm.
and.
Every way you can, yeah, any way you can get it to people is a great idea.
All right, any more discussion or questions on this? Okay. Thank you, Dave, we look forward to this.
We need a motion on this, though.
Yeah, motion,
Madam Mayor,
yes.
I move that staff distribute the city of Dayton performance survey as per delivery methods indicated.
A second?
Okay, a motion from Councilor Hildebrand, a second from Wilkins.
Yep.
Thank you, Councilor Wilkins. I was like, wait a minute.
It always takes a few minutes. Alright.
I get
All those in
it.
favor? Yeah, I,
Aye.
all right, motion passes. Okay, we are moving on to page 105. And I don't think there's really any. But we'll discuss, Dave.
Yeah, so this is information that Jeremy asked me to provide to you guys to give you a better idea of just the initiatives that are being pursued. Both on an annual basis and on a short-term basis. Actually, in my report that I'll give later on in the meeting, I'll touch on how some of these have already evolved to become reality, which is exciting. But I think in particular, your 12-month economic development and tourism plan is something that's been put together to kind of guide things over the next 6 to 12 months. Obviously, we haven't met as an urban renewal committee yet. And I'm suggesting that that's something that we start to do once we have a better understanding of the impact of the property tax increase, in particular to the merchant block. Because that's gonna give us an idea where we stand for the next probably 2 years until additional construction takes place. Jeremy asked me, we talked about the Dayton Forward Plan, which is, as we both agree, is still so relevant to this community. There are so many things on it that still have been done. And then there are things that haven't been. So we talked about what are the things that we can do that would make an immediate impact. Again, I will touch base on some of that later on in my last discussion. And that includes the highway CT or the high school CTE program, which is super exciting, as well as the bicycle signage, which was part of the Dayton Forward Plan. And now that we have a transportation plan coming forth, it actually identifies best routes for this kind of thing, where we can start to be able to sign and street sign best ways to get in and out of the city on your bicycle. The last thing, the advertising analytics, that's something I'll provide to you on a monthly basis. So you can see what's kind of going on. We have one more month, the month of November, that we're utilizing our grant funds that we received from Travel Oregon to be able to pay for what we've been doing. So after that, things will probably change a little bit and so forth in terms of focus, but we'll be addressing that with you as well. So take a moment, if you haven't already, to take a look at this information. If you have questions, feel free to reach out at any time. I'm happy to answer them by email as well, and then, yeah, and then we can move forward from there. So I'm excited. I think there's a lot going on,
Yeah.
and it looks like we're getting ready to rock and roll, so. Yeah.
I did one question, urban growth boundary, are you guys planning a meeting soon or?
Urban growth boundary, or do you mean urban renewal?
Um,
I think she means urban renewal district.
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay, so urban renewal, you as a council are the urban renewal
okay,
commission, okay? So you will be the ones that are actually gonna be holding a meeting monthly or periodically to be able to address those kinds of issues. And so kind of the thought process again being that once we have a better idea of the impact that this is going to make for the next 2 years, that will allow us to plan forward what we might want to do. You'll see on there a number of projects that were put into the plan. Those aren't set in concrete. Those are just thoughts and ideas. So you can look at them and start thinking about them, because once we, like I said, do have some, we'll probably start to move forward on some of these items.
Just not a question, but a comment. I gotta say, every time I look at the Dayton Forward plan or the Discover Dayton, what you guys are doing there, you know, everything that's in this documentation is just top notch. So really excited about what, you know, the coming months and years will bring on this, you know, in particular, like, you know, the bike routes, I mean, everything just seems super good. So really excited to kind of see where all this goes. So good.
Thank you.
I love trees, the impressions.
yeah.
And it's kind of fun that they picked the bridge one.
Right, I'm with you. I didn't think that would be.
I know, but they did, and it just looks like, you know, a trail that they're walking and it's family oriented.
Yeah, I was surprised by that.
So, and then, of course, the wind up the next. Yes, sir.
So this will dovetail, it will dovetail with components of transportation plan that we're discussing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you'll be getting that, I think, before council. Well, you have a joint planning council.
Thursday.
Thursday.
Yeah.
Because I have some concerns, but I'll address it with the.
Yeah, you'll see it brought up. Okay.
I couldn't help notice a typo in here.
Uh,
We do not have a 77th Street.
Where is that one?
Someday.
Under Legion Field and
It's 109.
Confidence Park, 11th Street Park.
Okay.
Oh, that was in a plant too.
109.
Yeah,
Although it's actually under Smith Park, so I wonder if it would be more appropriate, I think, to have it in there as that.
What is, what is it?
I was trying to figure out where 77.
It used to be called 11th Street Park,
Yeah.
but it's not, it's the,
I think that's a PDF conversion error. Yeah.
dang it, update those things.
yeah.
Andrew Smith will be.
Okay, page 127, we are going to have discussion, regarding the solicitation policy. And it's you again, Dave.
Yeah, I'm up today. So based on our last two meetings, we took the advice you had given and narrowed down what our suggestion would be for updating our solicitation policy. You'll see on the back sheet there our current policy. You'll see 3 different options that were put together for consideration. We're recommending option number 2. There's a few reasons why I like the way that words. It's number 1, we currently charge a business license here for $25. So I don't want to get into confusing people with that. I'd rather call it a permit to be able to do this. It allows us the flexibility to change the price as well for that permit. So we're able to charge a bit more. I know that Councilor Hildebrand brought up the sign size and so forth. 3x5 is a little more consistent with what other cities are doing and still makes a prominent look if you have that next to your entryway. Code enforcement officer designating staff contact. It makes sense that code enforcement be the one that way they can monitor the people that are doing that in the city. And then if we do get calls or anything, they will be able to have that information readily available. As far as obviously enforcement is our sheriff deputy.
One more thing for you.
And then as far as if there's a violation, their permit would be revoked, there would be a fine, it would be a class B violation. So that's what we're recommending. You guys can discuss it amongst yourselves versus the options. And then, depending what you think, we can move forward.
Excellent.
So, yeah. So just for clarification, because I'm a dummy, so under solicitation, would a political, like a big, huge political sign in my front yard be a permitted?
That's not a solicitation. This would be door to door solicitation. So this
Oh,
is somebody
okay.
coming and knocking on your door and saying,
Because it's, if there was minimum of
Let me
3
clean that
inch,
carpet
5
stand.
inch. Okay, got it, all right.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Yeah.
No, I got it.
yeah, there's been in Lafayette as well, there's been a disruption in this area lately. Of just people coming
Oh, yeah, for sure.
past hours and everything
I'll
else.
run out my dog to anybody that wants.
Yeah, well, you have that,
I
you
used to-
have
my
that rare
husband
dog
does too.
there. It keeps me back, I mean.
Yes.
Hey, thank you all for putting this together. As everybody knows, this is something that I've been very passionate about over the last few months. A question on that 3x5 minimum no solicitation sign. Is that 3 and 5? Because that's interchangeable as well, so it's not.
Yeah, it doesn't
Not required.
specify length or width,
Perfect.
yeah,
Cool, that sounds great. Thank you. That's the only question I had.
okay.
Being the stickler that I am partial towards option 3. That's the more expensive thing that gets more money in our pockets, for the permit, but I am totally fine with option number 2 as well. First one.
And just to be clear, our option number 2, does that mean Girl Scouts have to pay $50 to go around knocking on the door?
Yeah, they'd be under the civic exempt
Okay.
thing, yeah, they would be exempted that way.
Just
It
double
really
check.
means, it's really directed at the sales effort that goes on from a private company or somebody of that nature. So, yeah,
Pest control, so you do the big.
yeah.
Or the carpet cleaning.
Yeah.
That's so.
Okay, does anybody have a motion or an option they are interested in?
Can I ask one more question? Does this include religious solicitation?
No, religious is also identified as exempt. Yeah.
Madam Mayor,
Yes,
does anybody have a strong preference towards any other option than option number 2?
I like option number 2.
Madam Mayor, I move to direct staff to draft a proposed update to the solicitation policy in the Dayton Municipal Code as described in option 2.
I second.
I have a motion from Counselor Hildebrand and a second from Counselor Tycrow. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes.
Madam Mayor, may I real fast?
Yes,
We're looking at what, 90 to 120 days on a turnaround on this, so, major kudos to everybody involved on. Hey, we saw a problem and we got it fixed within.
Thank you for bringing it up.
Yeah, of course.
right on. Okay, page 129 of our packets, approval of resolution 2025/2607. Dissolving the Dayton Code 1 account with US Bank and distribution of the remaining funds.
Yeah, you see there's a little over $2,000 been sitting in the fund and nothing has been done for it for quite some time. It was a nonprofit. Origination for a nonprofit. But like I said, nothing's been done for a long time, and according to the charter, for it, if we do dissolve it, it still has to be, the funds has to be put into another nonprofit fund somewhere else.
Can we put it in our library fund?
I was gonna ask something more specific. It was originally created as a support group for the city of Dayton. So if we can give the money to the city of Dayton, I would like to recommend that we use it to fund the YAC. Get the YAC up and running, youth advisory committee, get the materials, get them on board, do the recruiting, make t-shirts even. I would like to see, I was the one who did the nonprofit, took a group and did the paperwork and all of that. I was the executive director. Just kind of, people went their separate ways, but it was created by the Commission on Children and Families. So the idea of putting it back into kids. And we need those kids to help us. So that would be my recommendation, if we can. Yes.
I have a question, so. It was put in there as under nonprofit, okay, being a president of a nonprofit myself. What nonprofit? Whose money is that?
It's the nonprofit's money that's dissolved.
And so, did the nonprofit already dissolve with the state?
Yeah, it just kind of fell apart for
It's
lack of
defunct.
interest.
Okay, so I mean, that's a step you have to take.
There was an administrative dissolution due to inactivity.
Okay, thank you.
I don't, what we not need to make sure we do though, is it has to be put in to something else that's under 501(c).
Well, what is the city? You're not a 501.
CDA.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The DCDA is, maybe we can utilize the DCDA and use it for that way.
That'd be pretty seamless.
Oh. Could the DCDA pick that up? Oh.
I bet you if you talked to, what's his name?
You kind
Thank you, you got it.
that would keep it in.
I was gonna call him Bud.
Keep it within the support group of the Dayton.
Well, so do you want staff to follow up on that, or do you want to follow that up and then let staff know?
Madam Mayor,
Yes,
we're DCDA, we're having a meeting tomorrow night, I can bring it up at that meeting.
perfect.
Liaison it up.
All right. I'll look forward to hearing from you.
Well, then if I may make that, have we had a motion yet?
No.
Okay, may I?
Yes,
Alright. I move to approve resolution 2025/26-07. A resolution dissolving and closing the Dayton Code 1 account with US Bank.
Second.
the motion from Counselor Mackin, a second from Counselor Tycro. All those in favor? Aye. Motion passes. Woo-hoo. Man, we're cooking tonight. Just kidding. Okay, page 133. Yeah, actually. So good. Okay, this is the OWRD grant award and Jeremy.
I'm requesting council's authorization tonight for us to go ahead and get this funding request for $1.2 million turned into the Oregon Water Resources Department. Once that's turned in, they will give us a contract, which I will bring to you at a future meeting. This is just to get the ball rolling on that contract.
Diggity, all right,
Right, Madam Mayor,
yes,
I move to authorize the city manager to submit the direct award information form as presented to the Oregon Water Resources Department.
I have a motion from Counselor Tycro, a second from,
Neither one of us.
okay. Will.
Yep.
Sorry, I'm bad. Just go for it. You are neighbor. Okay, so all those in favor? Aye. All right, motion passes. We are on to F, city council comments and concerns, and we're gonna start down there with Counselor Mackin.
Oh goodness, what did I have this time? LOC.
Wow.
Committee assignments. Not so good news, I did not get appointed to the 3-year term on the board of directors. However, I did officially join the Women's Caucus.
Oh, good.
And they appoint directors on a 1-year basis. and I am a director now on the Women's Caucus. There is one more opening coming up for 1 year on the board of directors. A former director is now vice president with 1 year left. And since Dayton has never been on the board of directors, I'm gonna give it one more try. I'm going to see if I can get in there for that year.
Excellent.
But, man, this was an excellent conference. There was a segment on government accounting and budget. And the city of Hillsborough has an excellent presentation that could be used. A lot of this was about civility, bringing civility back. There was a segment on inclusive community events from planning to celebration. Lots of excellent information. Lots of contacts. I have several more things to follow up on. But it was just, I'm gonna need to put together a written report, I think. But one of the things that came up, I gotta say, get curious instead of furious. Whoa. I got to hear from the first female governor in Oregon, that woman, Barbara Roberts. She is still amazing. She is involved in a project out in her hometown of Sheridan. They're building a tech center connected to the high school. She even mentioned Dayton by name. Dayton students can take advantage of it. Science and agriculture and technology. Some really good things happening. So, and I met another scooter user. This one is at the opposite end of the spectrum from me. It was a very recent occurrence, from a selfish driver. And that life changed instantly. But this is one of the strongest activists I've ever met. This newly minted disabled person, so to speak, he is speaking up more than I am. So I have made contact with him, and I have a couple other contacts to follow up on, especially with independent living resources in Portland. They will be very handy. So I will have a lot more to say, but maybe, I wonder if I could get, say, 15 minutes on a work session agenda. Then I could present a little bit more formal stuff. But I highly recommend it. It's helpful if you go to the conferences, but Robin, you could sign up for the Women's Caucus. They have Zoom meetings once a month. The league is really good about sticking to 1 hour. So, if you are interested, Madam Mayor, I know you're busy, but, Robin, if you're interested, I'd be happy to, get you in touch with them. It'd be nice to have more representation from Dayton.
Yeah, we're almost outnumbered of girls over here. Just kidding.
So,
I thought we were no solicitation from.
That was good.
so, getting involved outside the city is really good. And I gotta tell you, Davy Crockett was amazing. I told that joke, everybody knows about Davy Crockett's third year, third year. He had 3 years, he had the left one, and the right one, and the one on the front ear. And I must have told that joke 100 times, and it always got good laughs. And it's an icebreaker, and you go on and talk about stuff.
Nice.
Yeah,
Very
so,
nice.
one thing about breakfast with Santa. The breakfast is a city function. I would very much like to have reserved seating for
We're gonna have a work session,
Okay,
cause I want the council to be much more involved and not putting it on staff.
okay,
Great, cause I got something I can't sometimes do.
Okay, so we'll have a work session and we can discuss.
okay. I think I'll leave it at that for now.
Okay, Counselor Tyro.
So my topics are gonna revolve around DCDA.
Mm.
We just had our Brookside Cemetery tour over the
That
weekend.
was amazing.
Were you able to get out there and see it?
No.
It
No
was.
tickets.
Was that?
You guys sold out by the time
We
I got
did.
to it.
We did.
nice.
It was a hit. Dave was involved, Robin was involved. We had a lot of good feedback from the people that did attend it.
Mhm.
And I recommend every city councilor to at least go and look at these functions with the community that gets involved. It's great to see and you need to see all of us out there. I too wanted to talk a little bit about the breakfast with Santa and the whole Santa situation.
Hold your thoughts.
So, because there was some conversation that we had, and I'm sure Robin can add to this. Soiree and Cypher on, is it
Saturday, Thanksgiving.
the tree lighting day?
Mhm.
They're gonna do it that morning, but they're hiring a Santa to come in, and I think he charged like $300 for like 3 hours worth of time.
Our Santas never charged
No.
us.
But I wasn't sure what our situation was, so I just wanted to kind of bring that up. And then is the Fall into Winter Bazaar, is that part of the work session conversation?
Yes.
Okay. Because that is something that I'm also gonna be kind of tiptoeing around at tomorrow's TCDA meeting. As far as being involved in some way.
So we will cover if we are going to have it, who's gonna manage it. Ricky can help for the first year to help train us in anything that they used to do, but it's gonna become. The ultimate goal is, I'm just gonna tell you, is staff will help, but these. Sponsored events by the city are gonna be run by council from now on.
Okay.
And the reason it's gonna be is because we need that FaceTime with our constituents.
Certainly.
So they also need to know that we give a hooey about our community, and if we don't show up to these things, particularly things like that, they don't think much of us then, so. Anyways, so be prepared.
Okay. Well, that's good. That's good news. I can't elaborate too much on the specifics for tomorrow night's meeting, because it has to get approved, of course.
Yeah,
But there's some really neat committees that are being presented to the DCDA board that should get passed, and once they do, we'll be acting quickly on them and hopefully having these things come to fruition next year. And the other thing is we've got that Main Street Conference coming up Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday.
Mhm.
Myself, Wendy, and Ukaya will
are
be
you gonna
attending.
go? Excellent.
Yes, already signed up, so we'll be there.
That's what I know. Right
That's all I got.
All right. Would you have any comments or concerns?
Not currently tonight,
All right, thank you,
but
sir.
I will be bringing some up later.
All right,
Good.
Councilor Hillebrand?
So just a couple small things, on the theme of Christmas, didn't we cut some of our holiday decorations, or are we still going full bore with all of our lights this year? Okay,
We still own and have all of our decorations.
We're just
so
not
it's a
buying
matter of-
Just not buying.
Yeah,
Okay, cool. That sounds good. I just in case people ask, I was curious.
yeah.
And then, before I get into the question, I just wanna see, our bathrooms and kind of the lock situation part of your public works update, Don? Okay, so I'm not gonna get into that now. And then, last but not least, so the Dayton Food Pantry had a fundraiser a couple weeks ago. It was awesome. It was a really cool time. The Dayton Food Pantry is doing some really cool stuff at their new location. So if you haven't been, and chatted with them, definitely, stop by and visit. But I got to see Luke's fun thing was that he was an auctioneer, and he got to actually be the auctioneer that night. It was awesome. He's so good. He's really good. So that was really cool to see. But it was a great day of community. There's a lot of good folks putting in a lot of hard work there. So if you haven't given face time to that, definitely do so.
Excellent. have to do.
Yeah, I also wanted to comment about the, living history event. It was a lot of fun to do and really came off wonderfully and kudos to everybody involved. I do have some questions and comments about the tree lighting, DCBA versus city, who's doing what, and so you just mentioned a work session, when is that?
I think, did we talk about it this month sometime?
The 20th of October, it's the same one as we had.
The usual, the third Monday.
Okay. That's what I wondered. And then I have, had one constituent ask me, a question I want to ask you. They said they feel like the city is maybe hesitant, or we don't have a mechanism for condemning buildings that should be taken down or whatever. I think spotting the one kind of across the street from us that's been hanging there for a long time. There's another building in town.
Which one across the street are we talking?
Next to Cypher, there's a,
That's been there for a long time.
and so it's condemned, right?
It's not.
So how
It
does that
just
happen?
looks really bad.
That's kind of the question, is how, does the city move on that? How do they move on that? What is the mechanism on that?
Code enforcement, so
Why is that?
it's a
building rather than
private
the
property. And it's not falling down, it's not. I don't believe in a state that is condemned.
Can we get guidance on that from June?
I'm sorry.
Long term, like the next meeting, can we get guidance on if we have policy on that?
I'd like to, if I may, have a conversation just to get more details on what's going on.
Okay. It was just a question that I've had, which is why I thought, yeah, I'd kind of like to ask that for you, but also for me. You know, what does that code enforcement look like? You know, why do buildings hang in the city and look so bad?
Could we get together and perhaps I could get more detail and.
Sure. Yeah.
Figure out how we might go.
I do wanna caution people, the way things look is in the eye of the beholder sometimes. And I don't want to get so picky on people that they feel like they're living in some sort of, you know,
Oh, yeah, that's not what I'm talking about.
so.
That's the man.
Well,
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So, so just as an example, so there was a house that had a car run into it. It was deemed, unsafe. Now, those owners are being very responsible with how they're approaching this. Let's say hypothetically, it was a deemed unsafe building, it was tilting, and then it was abandoned. I think what you're wondering is what our process for that would be. Something similar in that vein.
Yeah.
Not to put,
Yeah.
words forward, but I just wanna make sure.
yeah, that's exactly.
Okay, cool.
What,
Does that?
how do we move on?
Excellent.
Okay.
And that was my question, that was my comment, and I'm done.
Okay. Counselor Holbrook.
I just want to say thanks. We'll put me back behind the counter. It's kind of fun to be back here. I enjoyed my staff before it, so thank you for choosing it again. I had some reservations, but I think it's gonna be just fine. I had two things I wanted to bring up. The first had to do with the transportation meeting on Thursday. I know, Kitty, that you're gonna be there as a representative of the city council. I know that Jane, ex-councilman McGuire was the second council person to be there. And I wondered if you would like me to take his place, or is somebody else already?
I think we're all gonna be there.
We did.
Oh, we are? Oh, okay, because they only showed two people as listed, when I looked through
For the joint meeting on Thursday.
for the transportation TPA meeting. Yeah.
It's all of us.
Okay, because it said it in the advertising, only two council members be there.
That was for the committee work. This is a joint meeting with the planning commission. We're gonna be
Right,
making a
exactly.
decision
Base.
and accepting it. So, but if there are any more committee meetings, I would love to have Mr. Hooper. It'd be nice to have some other input.
Well, I was planning on going as a member of the city at large. Because I have some concerns that I really feel like this is the best venue to bring up. Specifically doing sidewalk, crosswalks, there are no crosswalks. To speak of except for square in the middle of town. And people don't understand that every road's a crosswalk. If you're standing at the corner of the road coming on to Wallace Road, that's a crosswalk. That means you stop. And it's hair raising occurrence up there coming from my house on West Palmer Lake. I seen kids almost get run over, my dog's almost been taken out, trucks go by there at 60. It's just an insane situation over there, and you can't be there 24 hours a day, and. If there was a crosswalk there, then at least people would say, oh, there's a crosswalk, and so I know that's an ODOT issue and a bunch of other stuff, but. But it's a super big passion of mine, it has been for the last 8 years, so.
Yeah.
And so, should I come as a citizen, or can I bring those concerns up as a council member? Okay, I will, yeah.
As an individual.
No, I know, but yeah, and the second piece. Oh, that should do it, yeah, that's, oh, no, the other thing I wanted to talk about was. How we deal with our code enforcement situation, because I've had a couple of solid waste complaints. And specifically in that house on Third Street, they got run into by a car, she's got a big pile of solid waste out there, I put a complaint in 2 months ago. I've got the word that the complaint was received, but the complaint's never been resolved. And I really honestly don't know if there's a system in place as a city resident. To follow up on that and to hold count to the. The people.
Work with Jeremy.
Sure.
In every conversation after this meeting.
Yeah, but it's just concerning to me that we have a big pile of garbage in there that's violating our. An ordinance, and it's been addressed and not taken care of. That's it. Other than that. That's all, have a nice night, indeed.
I had a question, but I forget, I lost it a long time ago and I cannot bring it back. So I have nothing anymore, other than we're gonna have a work session for all this other stuff. And so we're just gonna move on to the tourism and economic development.
Sure, I'll try to be as brief as possible. I attended the Business Oregon Economic Development Workshop a week and a half ago. Really great attendance, really great information. What they were really looking for is information from us and what the focus should be in 2026. And primarily, it landed on 2 things. Once again, infrastructure improvement and assistance to small cities in particular. And then obviously less bureaucracy, making it easier, just get things done. So those were the feedback. They will be reporting back to everybody in the coming months. As to what the conclusions were overall with all the workshops that they're holding. I too will be attending Oregon Main Street Conference on Thursday and Friday. So I'm sure I'll see my colleague there. One of the things that you saw in there was CTE programs in school. So we have initiated conversation with the school district. That has led to several meetings already, one concerning the culinary program. And connecting them with the Escape Lodging Group that runs the inn and eventually be running additional property once that is passed and completed. So we're hooking them up so that they can come in and guest speak to the students and talk to them about the way in which they do hospitality. So it's kind of a cool way of starting to connect business, city, school district. The other thing is Don and I went in and along with Cindy and spoke to the metal and wood printing shop. And that was super enlightening, and they were so excited to consider projects like rebuilding park benches or ornaments for Christmas to give away, or on benches for the cemetery. So this is super great. We're going to meet again, give them a list of items, let them prioritize, and then hopefully be able to act on those. So it's really cool because this is just the beginning. I think we're going to get a lot out of this, and I've communicated with Robin ahead of time because she is the liaison and will continue to do such as we move forward. But we can invite you to some of those meetings if you're available. Wanted to just briefly touch on park plan for the Courthouse Square Park. We know it was dry. We know it was dead, basically, the grass this year. A part of that was in reference to the dedicated well system for the park has dried up. So, if we are able to connect to the water source, which would be the city water, that obviously will be beneficial, but I think to bring it back, we're talking about, either renting or purchasing, aerating equipment, thatching equipment, that kind of thing. And then I want to personally thank our Commissioner Johnston, who I reached out to about grass seed, and the next thing you know, 2 days later, I've got 250 pounds of Oregon grass seed. So, thank you. That was much appreciated. Let's see, last things are, Halloween's coming up. We've got, posters up at the entire business community around the square, as well as down the way, is participating in giving out candy from 3 to 5 p.m. We weren't aware at the time that there is no school that day, which is kind of unbelievable, really. Kids love to dress up.
No school,
Yeah, no school.
that in Thursday.
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
Oh, my.
So, yeah, so anyway, we're still doing it. It still should be fun. We'll get the word out through the school district. So that the kids, come around and frequent the businesses downtown. And then the last thing is, the fire department has brought up some concern about Halloween. In terms of its impact on, in particular, the Joel Palmer neighborhood down below. Just so y'all know, on that Friday, which is Halloween, is also the Amity Dayton game. And
Oh,
we
dear.
know what that means. So it's gonna be busy here. I was able to talk to Sergeant Eubanks when he came in. He will dedicate an officer, because that's your Monday through Thursday, so that's Fridays on.
He's
So
like,
we will
"Thank you,
have,
Bob."
him, I know, right? We will have him here, but, it's up to you for consideration. You can discuss it maybe at the next meeting if you want to do something about that.
Quick question, do we have extra local traffic only barricades? We do, okay, so that could be an option, should we choose to
Right,
go that way,
Yeah.
okay, cool.
I think we need to have a discussion.
We put that on the work session, well, will we have enough time? I mean, that's only 10 days after the work session that we would need an
We
action
should be
plan,
planning.
should we plan a time? Okay,
yeah, we'll be
cool.
okay.
Don's like,
Okay, it's just something.
Put them out Thursday and drag them across the road Friday evening.
Cool, love it.
And, yeah, other than that, that's what I had to report.
right on. All right, we'll move on to public works. Dawn.
The storm line from Commerce to Alder, the one down here, that project has been completed. Went smooth as could be, the paving's done, weather cooperated on that, so. I think Jeremy and Rob have already got the funding figured out, handled, discussion started on that, so.
Checks on the way.
Yeah, so everything went smooth.
Did a nice job too.
As Drew said, the 11th Street or Andrew Smith bathroom is open. The locks are programmed, they're working. We've checked it.
And the older couple that walks in the morning where the little lady has to use the bathroom halfway through her walk. Thanks you.
We've verified that they are working, so everything's good there. Sticking with that park, 3 weeks ago on a Sunday, we had another mysterious main line that very similar to Palmer Creek main line, that ruptured.
Cool.
It was supposed to be inactive, nobody knew it was there. We got notified shortly after it started leaking by a citizen. Within 4 hours, it was taken care of, so that we've gone back out, filled the hole, done what we could with trying to get the park presentable again, get rid of the big mud spot, but yeah, we'll have to see, like Dave was saying, when we start seeding parks, run down there and throw a little seed on that big spot.
Since that is not in operation anymore, is that something we could eventually knock down there? Cap off.
The well?
Uh-huh.
The well is already decommissioned over there. Well, the electrical component is decommissioned at that well house.
but it had a 3-inch line that actually runs from 11th Street through the park. And then somewhere around that well house tied into something, but it flows from 11th Street to the park. So we were able to locate a valve in the park and shut it off at the valve. So our next step will be actually going in and putting a thrust block and abandoning that valve underground.
So could we potentially knock that little brick building down? To have more space and part,
I'm sure we could discuss that.
just asking, I mean, it's by my house, so.
Sounds like you're sick of that little brick, that brick building.
Well, the only reason I'm sick of it is it would be easier for maintenance if the building's not there to just mow. As opposed to, cause one time they didn't mow around it, the weeds got kind of high and I made a complaint. So that's all. It's just, it's harder to maintain than that thing there.
Yeah. We refurbished a book drop. If you look out in front of the city hall, it had a little tiny gray book drop that was very flimsy and moved around, and the lock worked sometimes and didn't. We acquired one a while back. We were able to refurbish it, get it painted for the library. It's out front now, it's anchored to the ground, the lock works, everybody's happy. And it holds more, has more room, so it's not.
You mean we won't have to turn around and come back the next day because it's
Yeah.
full?
Well, Cindy was finding damaged books because people were just wedging them in, so. So yeah, she's got a bigger place to.
I bet she's happy. Ooh, too bad we couldn't paint it some fun thing.
Yeah.
Maybe the school.
Maybe. Highway 221 lift station, they are starting the final stages. We are just waiting on the schedule from Lawson. So that we actually have the hard dates on when they're gonna start doing all the last tests and everything has to be checked off before we can actually put it into service. So that was an exciting phone call to get Thursday. Cindy Lane, that water leak that we had over there a couple months ago, and then we had to leave the trench exposed with gravel for a month or so. That got paved when they finished up this Commerce Street storm line. They had extra asphalt and were able to go over there and take care of that for us. Street sweeping, we got sweeper fixed, so it is back running around. I was out with it on Wednesday last week. Or this week, last week, sorry, last week. So that was a welcome sign, lots of people waving and smiling and running out to move stuff out of the way. I know Jeremy has let you guys know in the past, I've touched on it before, we have one of our public works guys is out this entire month, he is attending CDL training, so. We are moving forward on that.
Bravo.
And then immediately following that, when he gets back to that, he's already scheduled for his wastewater tests. And then one of the other guys just got certificate or just got the approval to go ahead and schedule his Thursday last week. So we have 2 of them that are in the final prep, just getting ready to go and take tests for certifications. So.
You might actually get to have a vacation, it's awesome.
We'll see. On the water side, we went out last week. 4 of the 5 methane strippers got cleaned. So that was welcome maintenance that we were able to get taken care of. The one that's left, we're gonna do Wednesday, so then all 5 of them will be done and ready. The lagoons, all 4 ponds got mowed we bring in a contractor, they come in and they mow the inside where we can't get with the lawnmower, they use an excavator so they can get right down to the water's edge. So it helps us with our numbers when we have to do our sampling. they prefer it to be no vegetation when you're doing the samples, for contamination and different bugs and bacterias and stuff like that, so. We got lucky, they were able to sneak us in between jobs and get that knocked out in 5 days, so.
They didn't mow any of the little critters, did they?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all I've got.
Excellent.
Quick question for you, Don.
Yeah.
So for the Highway 221 lift station, when you were talking about that, it reminded me, I was biking on that pathway with our little bike trailer, with kiddo a little while back, and I noticed a couple things. Where the kind of entry point is to that bridge crossing and then the exit point, it seemed like there were some maybe sandbags that were kind of encroaching in. Are those necessary or are they, I mean, I assume they're like a rain stop.
Yeah,
Or
I think,
because the drain.
yeah, I
there.
think that's what,
My only concern is that being a safety issue longer term, especially with like, like kid carriers, it'll hit up and catch an air, if folks aren't paying attention. So just a small little like safety concern there
I
long term.
think those, I'm not positive. I will double check with Denny, but I believe those are there just during the construction
Cool.
aspect. And then I believe that those will be removed at the end of the project,
Cool.
so.
That's great. Thank you. Appreciate that. And then the second piece of that is that gravel patch over on the side where the lift station is located. For kind of sprucing it up long term, I wonder if we ever have an extra picnic table or benches or something like that. That you could create almost like a little overlook section there. Not sure if that's something that's been talked about at all. But it was just something that as I was passing by it, everybody walking on that end of town, want to sit down for a second. Then there's like an option.
Take this at the sewer station.
Yeah, front and center. But maybe not.
Show a girl a good time.
I know, hanging out next to the pub. Maybe not, but just a thought, in the very bottom list of priorities.
Yeah.
Cool. That's all I got.
Excellent. All right. We will move on to finance. Rob, have you got more information?
Well, just one thing, one of the things that Jeremy, he said that I needed to look into was finding out what more Cassell can do. It's a new program for me, I hadn't used it before. But and it's fairly simple to use, but then I think there's a lot of features that we aren't taking advantage of. And one of them would be what was brought up is the billing, having the separate line item for like one of the fees, if we have a fee that gets passed. So that's one of the things that I'm gonna be working on, is trying to figure out more things that we can do with Cassell to make it more useful for the city.
Thank you. Wonderful. All right, Jeremy.
Thank you, Mayor. Our water loss audit has been completed and accepted by the Oregon Water Resources Department. Our next step is to plan on implementing the projects in that memo, which GSI presented to you at your last meeting. I submitted the technical assistance funding request to Business Oregon. They had some follow-up questions for me, which I answered. Last week, I requested an update. They estimated within 1 to 2 weeks, they'll have an award letter. And then after that, 30 days, they'll have a contract. That's important because we can't start the permitting the water loss project until we have this contract in place, because they're going to have to review the procurement process that we use to select who we're going to be paying with this funding. I just want you to be aware of that. In August, you authorized us to issue a RFP for an integrator of record. We're still working on that. I had a meeting today with our legal counsel, with Don and our city engineer on the exact language that we need to have for a procurement exemption. And this procurement exemption, which will come to you, will enable us to have a master contract that will do all of the stuff that we need the integrator to do over the long term. So not just maintenance, but also public improvements. So we're still working on that. By the end of the year, our goal is to have the RFP out there and have somebody selected around January timeframe. Dave and I met with a firm in September that specializes in facility studies. They prepared a scope of work to do a facility study on our community center, to come up with some preliminary floor plans and some budgets, and to do some initial public engagement for our city hall and library construction project. Their scope of work was over $50,000. At that threshold, we need to get multiple proposals. I'm working on wrapping up the procurement for the water quality consultant. Once that's done, I will pivot to this so that we can get somebody on board to start doing the facility study. I will bring that to you at a future meeting, because we still need your buy-in on if we're going to use building reserve funds for this project. Dave, Don, and I met with PG&E representatives. They're going to send our service teams out to us. They can understand all the projects that we're working on, and ensure that we're working together on this and taking advantage of, like, if there are open trenches where we can put things underground. And they're also going to be coming to you in a future meeting so that you can ask any questions of them.
Like why they're charging us so damn.
Yes. I'm working with the city of Lafayette to formalize some of the handshake agreements that we have in place for the joint well field. That will be coming to you at a future meeting. I had a meeting with Rocio and the COG with the Twin Towers Hotel proposal developer to review some updated site plans. So that's working through the land use process at the moment, and then I'll have more information to share. To follow up on previous comment about the transportation system plan, those committee meetings are complete. The next stage is the joint meeting this Thursday. And then after that, there'll be planning commission meetings, and then after that, it'll come to city council. So we're nearing the very end of this process. I'm obtaining additional quotes for the OHA permitting and water quality testing project. That will be coming to you for approval at a future meeting. I've been working a lot to get this tax anticipation note sorted out, which you approved tonight. I also have a list of everything that's in our attorney's queue right now, so I just want you to be aware of what we're already working on. Our franchise agreement with Comcast expired. I've had some conversations with them on renewing that, on having just a temporary extension so that we can take an entire look at our franchise agreement with them. I had several citizen contacts, which are listed in your report. And then there are some other minor items which are in your report as well. One of which, on Friday, I participated in a panel discussion at the League of Oregon Cities. Later this month, I'll be going to Eugene to the Government Finance Officers Association. I've been invited to participate in another panel discussion at that conference.
Excellent.
What questions do you have for me?
Questions? Anybody?
Oh, a couple minor things. I'm gonna be taking vacation October 17th to the 21st, possibly to the 24th.
Okay.
I'll be out of town too.
Code compliance, somebody mentioned code compliance earlier. I met with the code enforcement officer today. We're gonna have 2 full days where we do a citywide drive-through code compliance review, select our 10 worst properties and prioritize those for enforcement. Our utility bridge project is officially closed out. We had some last items associated with that, and that's taken care of. And then Newburgh is having their city county dinner. There's $474 remaining in the council's training fund. I propose that myself and the mayor or anybody else on the council who wants to go, instead of the mayor, go to that in November at $45 each. So if you think about that, let me know.
Since we have Sergeant here, is there anything that you could share with us that we need to know? And I also want to ask, what can we do to help with some of the vandalism that's going on?
Yes, vandalism, and as far as anything to share, I don't have anything off the top of my head, but vandalism is on the list of topics that are concerning. It seems like it's fallen down immensely over the summer.
Yeah.
I think there was, potentially there was a person involved that I believe was, but I don't have anything that directly leads me to that. I think that person might have left the community. I haven't seen them, yeah, at all, and I think there was, like kind of related to high risk social networks. And where it'd be one tag in green or black and the other in white. But I think that that person has left the community, the other people that might have been involved or actually live outside of the community, so. So yes, he was put on the radar and I think he was notified that he was put on the radar and it just kind of stopped. Yeah, but I don't have anything that directly says it was him, I don't say it was, but I have a good idea that it was. But I think he knew too, so. I think mom was made aware of that too, and they kind of just.
Sorry.
No, I-
Kind of go, Mom.
There's a question on
Yeah.
that. Is this tied to the bathroom vandalism as well, or is that separate?
I think that might. be
It's all,
separate.
well,
It is, yeah. There's some vandalism in there that has nothing to do with high risk social networks, other than.
yeah, there's.
Inappropriate, yeah, comments, so.
A lot less tire tracks on the bridge now.
This is true, Jay.
Ever since they resurfaced the bridge, there's only been 2 tire tracks. So whoever was doing that, they're not doing that.
There's a plan to stop that already in place, so. Cool, any more questions?
I have,
Yes,
this readout of, citations, et cetera. You may or may not know this, and maybe this is a Recio thing, but the street numbers are cut off. So it just says Smith Street.
I live on
So it's fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, tenth, all of them.
But not 77th Street.
Yeah.
that.
We don't know.
Where do you live? I live on Coos.
I just received these from sheriff's office.
So anyway, that column, there's something wrong with the way that's reading, because
it's probably because goes further and it won't print.
the column before it's
Yeah.
overextended. Yeah. Bird Street is clear, but
Yeah.
Smith Street is not.
Yeah, and the N Street, ND, yeah, but.
Yeah.
Pretty much narrow those down.
Yeah, another question.
Yes, comment and question. So I had reported a few months ago about out of town on the west side, speeding in and out of town. It's got a little bit better, so I just want to say thank you. That's pretty cool to see from a safety standpoint, especially after school. And then in the evenings is kind of when it was the worst. So that's been noticeably better. I've been seeing, kind of patrols that direction quite regularly. So just thank you for the attention.
Are you talking about Wallace Road?
No, Ferry Street out of town,
Oh, yeah.
to the west.
That
Wallace
way.
Road, so.
They get right to the high school and they're like,
Mhm.
oh, it's gonna go up. Whoa.
Never mind the 35, that's just.
Yeah, they do. Go straight 60.
It has been getting better, so that's good.
Okay, the only thing I wanted to say, you're going to go on vacation. I'll be up in Olympia from the 17th through the 20th. I'll be available by phone.
One more point that was brought up at the conference. A city manager journal. If Jeremy does something really good, we should write it down so that we will remember that when the evaluation comes along. If he does something we don't like, we should probably talk to him immediately, but write down the good stuff and that way you'll remember it. Sounded like a good tip.
I like it.
I've already got a list of bad things. I guess.
Well, then get busy on the other list.
We just gotta be careful about public records.
All right, I'll entertain a motion.
Move to adjourn.
So moved, day 25.